the Monopoly game. Basically, it may be hard to believe, but you are simply a token on a Monopoly game. This Monopoly game is rigged. It's controlled by elites, by people who have the wealth, the power, the influence to control this game. But most of you are not even aware of being a token on this Monopoly game. Many of you and more of you are actually getting confused, feeling that there's something wrong, and are becoming aware of, oh yeah, this is a Monopoly game, this is rigged, and how can I position myself, what can I do to actually get out of this game and live a life where I am not feeding leeches anymore. Yes, because the key point about setting up this Monopoly game, this rigged Monopoly game, is to benefit from it, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't exist in the first place. And as you participate in this Monopoly game, you are actually feeding the people controlling this Monopoly game. You just feed leeches. It's basically a leech is coming on your skin and feeding from you, simply, right? And sometimes you don't see the leeches, right? And it's exactly the same with not realizing the Monopoly game. Not realizing that basically you are going into debt, you are putting constraints on yourself because they get you to perceive that you must go through those constraints. You must go through debt. You must accept that the price of assets be totally inflated. And you participate into this. To some extent, it has become for many of you a rat race, basically. You are in a race against other rats for a piece of cheese. This piece of cheese is the nice car, the nice house. The bigger the house, the better. More, better. No, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But the Monopoly game has made sure that the whole system has conditioned you very early through education, through your parents, through television, movies, Hollywood, to get you to believe that you must do that. You even play Monopoly, right? You even play this game when you are a kid, for many of you, right? There's the bank, there's the street, there's everything, there's the house, there's the hotel. Exactly like real life. Teach you how to play the game because you've got to fit inside, because you've got to get a job and participate in that game. Because as you participate in this game, you are actually making me rich, me wealthy, me influential. Until the point I've actually accumulated so much wealth that I don't need you anymore. And we are at this point in time, actually, where the people benefiting from the game have accumulated so much wealth, so much power, so much influence, that it's not about money anymore. It's purely about pure power, pure control, pure obedience of the people. And that's the reason why we are on the verge of a system collapse in the West, because they don't need this cash anymore. They just need to convert all this cash, all this artificial wealth that they have been created through money emission, into simple, pure power. And they need you to use whatever tool they put in place to control you. A good example of those tools is central bank digital currencies. Right now, many of you, so you've got a bank account, you've got some cash, but from the moment you don't have cash anymore, from the moment the system is asking you actually to use points, because it's not the equivalent of a physical euro, physical coins, or physical banknotes for dollar. It's simply points, and it's those points strictly worth nothing. It's just that I get you to perceive that those points, which they will tell you are digital euro, digital dollar, are worth something. They are worth strictly nothing. They get you to, instead of using coins that you own, right? they get you to use points that you must get through obedience. Because I can control the world system from the moment you adopt central bank digital currencies. From the moment I ask you to use points to go get gas, go get your bread, pay for a hotel room, pay for a plane ticket, whatever, then I control the world system. I can put an expiry date on those points, and I can put a ceiling to the quantity of points you can accumulate. And if I mandate that this is the only way to transact, or if I make you believe that it's actually, because it's all about perception, remember, if I get you to believe that it is the only way to transact, then you rush toward those points. If on top of that, I give you some free points every month, because the fact is that most people are actually have a negative net worth, right? They own a house, but if I get the house market to collapse, they are into debt. Most of them have a mortgage. Then your network is negative. Then if I come and propose you to have points on a monthly basis, let's say I will give you 1,000 points. They will have an expiry date, yes. But I give you 1,000 points, and with those points, you can refill at the gas station for 75 points every month. You can buy food for 200 points every month. You can pay for your medical insurance with 300 points every month. And I define your life. And then you're on a hook. You're totally controlled. And this is what we mean by population control, right? There's a number of tools, and especially technological tools, because they have no way to implement this control at scale with a manual manner, with humans, with people. So what do is that they are actually using technology as a first base. But more and more, they'll be using other people to get you into control. This is where delation is being used, right? The fact of, oh, that neighbor, be careful about him, right? Please report whatever he's doing. If you think there's something suspicious in the way he's acting or thinking, please report him or her to us. Yeah, because they don't have the resources, the physical resources to actually implement control at scale. What do? I use your neighbor to control you. Again, it's part of strategy. It's extremely smart strategy, and it works. Well, I don't like this neighbor, okay, let me report him. And that creates a context where people do not trust each other. And trust is fundamental. When there's no more trust in the system, you are actually on your side, you are isolated, and the more isolated you are, the better for me, because I can easily control you. So that Monopoly game is extremely complex. There's lots of detail, lots of strategies, but you don't need to understand it all, and that's the key point. You just need to understand that you are a token on this Monopoly board. You can be the little car, the little house, the little plane, whatever you want. But then you be moved around the board. The game is totally rigged. You are feeding leeches, so you're bleeding value. I'm not talking about bleeding cash. You are bleeding value. You actually create a lot of value, but this value is basically directly captured by other people. You are actually working a lot. Some of you work 12 hours a day or more. And this value is not being compensated at all. It is being captured. Whatever you create is captured by elites and grow the wealth, the influence, and the power of those elites. Simple. But once you understand that, yeah, you are in a Monopoly game, you can start behaving in a different manner and change the game. Render this game irrelevant and create your own game with other fellow men and women who are not okay to participate into it. Because there is a lot of alternative. It's just that most of you are so busy with your life that you do not take the time to pause look at things, realize that, okay, I could be doing something else. Actually, I could be working on my passion. I could actually make money out of that. Key point of the Monopoly game, constantly diminish the people. Constantly put them into constraint so that they diminish themselves. They don't believe into their capabilities. They don't believe into whatever they can do. And they just live their life in a busy manner, remain obedient, feed me till they die. That's the key point. Realize it, acknowledge it, change behavior. Thank you.